Welcome to the Launch Coaster Competition Showcase, the final showcase of all the competition. I'll be showcasing all the qualifying entries in alphabetical order of the creation's name. As usual, each creation gets 2.5 minutes of coverage. After all the entries have been showcased, a community vote will open, letting you all decide on a winner that will receive a £20 Steam, Xbox or PlayStation gift card. The dates are down below if you missed any of the previous showcases, and this showcase, once again, has a very special guest. Please welcome Mr. Antonio. How are you?
Moin. Hello. I'm fine. And you?
Are you excited to see? I mean, this creation's had competition's had over 100 entries, but we're not seeing all of them today, thankfully. We'll be here for a long time. We're only seeing a quarter, so this is the last lot of creations. I think there's 25 of them, so got a lot to cram in an hour.
I'm really looking forward to what the community has been cooking up to. So
yeah, I think. Pretty sure yours was the last showcase as well, your creation. So I'm glad you've got involved in this competition again as the winner of the last competition.
Yeah, let's see how the others did.
Yeah, let's get into it and get on with the first one. On to the first coaster we have, which is Swashbuckler, which I think is a Intamin or Premier Rides launch coaster. Nice different bits of theming. It's a really low to the ground coaster, which is the first thing I noticed, which is really nice. Lots of whippy, kind of fast transitions and airtime. 2 launches as well. What are your first thoughts?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty long layout. A lot of elements, whippy transitions, lots of airtime, nice scenery. Yeah.
Everything you can possibly want from a launch coaster. Yeah, the themed area the creators made around it's quite nice. I really like the interactions with all the different buildings as well. It's one of those coasters where the scenery interaction, because of the scale of the coaster, like all the near misses, makes the ride appear that much faster, which is pretty cool. We'll get onto the POV. I don't know what it is with this track type and this coaster train combination, but they just work so well together. If you needed to make a smooth coaster in game, like a launch smooth coaster, this is definitely a really good combo to go for. There's some really nicely profiled elements on here, like that kind of off-axis airtime hill thing there was cool, and some more airtime burst into the rock and into an upwards launched hill, which is interesting. This coaster is glossy smooth as well. Really nice view over the area when you're up high at the back here. Or double down into a double up as well, nice. Oh, triple up maybe. It's definitely got a lot of whippy transitions and oh, that was a really cool inversion to the brake run there.
Yeah.
What did you think of the layout of the coaster?
It's pretty versatile. I like that there's transitions, a lot of airtime, pops. I like the inclined launch as well. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a really unique element in incline launch, kind of like Maverick style. I've never experienced one of those, but I'd really like to someday. But yeah, really nice coaster, nice little themed area that you've given it as well. Good work. On to the next one, we have Coronado Hotel, which is a really, really nicely themed coaster. The actual building style and like architecture is really, really nice. Kind of getting what's the hotel at the Disney parks, the drop tower one? Whatever it's called.
The Tower of Terror.
Yeah, Tower of Terror. I'm kind of getting that vibes from it, but it's a coaster, which is really, really cool. Nice Mac multi-launch coaster, but I mean, as I've just said, the buildings are really, really nice.
Yeah, wow, the theming is incredible. It looks very detailed. I like the colors. There's even some backstage stuff on top.
Yeah, I really like the way they've done that, how there's kind of really incredibly detailed facades, and then it's still got that realism touch of the back of house area, which is really nice. And I love this queue as well. It's completely under the coaster, and you get some really nice kind of immersive points like this in this greenhouse. But we'll go on the ride, and this creator asked for this coaster to be showcased at night, and you can definitely see why. This kind of indoor section before the main launch is really clever. I'll definitely have to try this someday to do like an indoor section before the start of a ride. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. It sets the theme.
It's really building up the tension. The lighting on that building just makes it even better. I love how it just kind of explores this whole themed area, and like the music and the night lighting is just, like you said before, really, really atmospheric. And then this was just a part of the queue that I missed earlier, I wanted to add in. There's just really nice sections like this that just make the coaster.
Yeah, the theming looks really good. It looks very cohesive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just really, really detailed, and just little flickering lights like that, just really nice additions that just finish it off nicely. Onto the next coaster, we have an absolutely huge launched RMC, and I've never actually seen anyone make an RMC with like black track and black trusses before, but it just works really nicely. I need to do this at some point. I think the first thing I've noticed is all the custom supporting on the actual, like, I was going to say lift hill, which looked like a launched hill on the first drop. Like, that looks so detailed and really, really nicely done.
I love the trains dueling. Mm-hmm. Another train launching up the lift hill.
It's a very, very high throughput coaster. Really nice maintenance area down there as well. The profiling from what we've seen so far looks really, really nice. It's got such a presence over the area as well. It just kind of, I mean, obviously it's huge, but it just dominates every view of the coaster.
The creator definitely knows how to make a realistic coaster, I guess. Looks really, really, really realistic.
It's a really nicely done realistic coaster, but I just can't stop looking at the lift structure. It's so nicely done. Really cool inversion as well before the first launch.
And building a truss is very time consuming, so I respect the work.
Yeah, I just can't imagine all the individual little beams to do that. I mean, I think those metal pieces actually look quite, I don't know, are they thinner than the ones in game? That might be TMTK, I can't tell.
It looks like TMTK, but still a lot of work.
I mean, the amount of TMTK I've had to install for this competition has been insane anyway. I think I put a message in the Discord. Is it last week? I have over 55 gigabytes of TMTK items just from this competition alone.
Crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. The black of the track and the colour of the wood that this creator's gone for just goes so well together. That is a really smooth inversion as well. The coaster's been smooth to like within an inch of its life.
There's a good mix between ejector hills and floater hills.
Yeah, it's got a very nice ending of just loads of little pops of airtime, and then really, really smooth inversions throughout the layout. And I thought just have a little look at the night lighting as well. Yeah, really nicely done. Onto the next coaster, we have the Observatory, which is a huge Mack multi-launch coaster. Really, really nice how it's kind of set down from the, like, I don't know, the people area? I don't know what you'd call it. The plaza, that's the word. The people area. You know what I meant. But yeah, I like how it's kind of set down. Kind of, the plaza's like a viewing platform over this area, which is really cool. And the actual theme of this is really cool. It's like, well, as you can tell, an observatory, but look at the kind of walkthrough pre-show. It's so cool.
Wow, seems like a lot of sounds as well.
Yeah, this coaster's really good audio experience as well for the indoor portions. Yeah, I really need to do like a show scene at some point before a launch on a coaster. This is really cool.
Yeah, it just adds so much tension and anticipation. Yeah.
Sound design is insane. Another coaster that was asked to be spotlighted at night, and you can definitely see why. The lights actually placed in the track just work so well.
It's even animated.
Oh yeah. I haven't even commented on the custom supports as well because they just look so seamless. Really good job on those. Kind of reminds me of the Starfall Racers coaster coming to Universal. There's some very similar elements.
A lot of hang time, a lot of stalls, windy bits, low to the ground.
We love windy bits. And finishing with a little show scene there as it goes back in the building. Yeah, I really like this creation. It's definitely exactly what you'd want from a blueprint coaster. Like, it's very self-contained, but it creates like a little area. I see what you mean about the light show now on the top part. That's really cool.
Oh wow.
You can imagine this kind of being sat towards the back of the park and taking up a good portion of the skyline, seeing it from a distance. Yeah, another really nicely done launch coaster. The next coaster we have is the Outside, which is a really nice multi-launch, Intamin coaster, which is really, really cool. The theming on this has been really nicely done, and this piece count, I think, has been used very efficiently. Like, it themes the parts of the coaster that you're around more, like in the plaza area, but then when you're actually on the ride, you've still got little bits of theming as well, which is really nice. The custom supporting, again, looks really, really good, as it has for a lot of coasters in this competition. And this coaster is like 1 meter smoothed. It's been smoothed to death, and I absolutely love that about it. It's buttery smooth. But yeah, this whole kind of area that the ride's set in is really, really nice. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the theming looks really good. The medieval theme, looks pretty well put together. There are a lot of TMTK items I don't recognize as a console player, so that looks pretty cool. The custom supports are awesome. Yeah.
These rockwork pieces are probably some of the most downloaded TMTK items. You see them everywhere, but for good reason. They do look great. They look like they're straight from the game, and yeah, this creator's integrated them very seamlessly. But I just love how realistic this coaster feels. You'll see when we go on the POV that all of the elements and parts of like the transitions, they just feel like they've been very well studied in a way. Like the what's the word? The profiling is like really, really accurate. It just feels very, very intimate.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that this guy knows his stuff.
I love how that launch section there, how the two strips of LSMs are actually separated, which is how they would be in real life. Just look at like Pantheon or TUATARA, it looks exactly the same. It's so smooth. Yeah, and into the brakes. It's a really short coaster, but I think it's not short because of like the track length. It just takes it so quick.
Yeah, it packs a punch in it.
Yeah, like little punch coaster. Yeah, definitely. But even this area down here with the interaction with the queue is really nice. And I think I could take a quick look here at the night lighting, which the creator asked me to look at the second launch, and I'm glad that I did. The trigger work as the coaster goes across this launch is really, really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, great coaster.
Nice.
The next one, we have another launched RMC, which is nice to see. I didn't expect to have many RMCs on this competition, because obviously it's a launch coaster, and sad to say it, there is no longer a launched RMC in real life. But now we've got some in Planet Coaster, which is always good. This one is the Pumpkin's Revenge. I don't know what the Pumpkin's after Revenge for, but I'm glad he is, because this coaster is really, really cool.
Yeah. The 000G snake dive looks insane.
Yeah, it looks like something that RMC would do. They're definitely a very, I don't know, like ballsy company when it comes to certain coaster elements. If you look at Airy Force 1, just some of the elements on there, like, look absolutely insane. Like, you would never expect a coaster to, I don't know, take those elements at this speed, and this kind of feels like a bigger Airy Force 1 in a way. Like, there's some really cool inversions, but then there's just loads of like trips that are just packed with airtime hill after airtime hill, and it just really, really works.
I feel like this creator wanted to push the limit of what RMC can do in the future.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that they did. It's interesting seeing like a top hat on an RMC as well, which is something we've never seen. Oh, we're on fire. Never mind.
Oh.
It's okay. We'll just do the rest of the coaster just a little bit char grilled.
Cook the guest.
Yeah, I could definitely see RMC doing something just as insane as this, because
without the fire.
Yeah, just without being cooked on the start of it. It's definitely got the RMC profiling, like rapidness of the transitions, really nailed well.
That was like a mini death roll.
It kind of reminded me of like like a death roll, but then almost like Vekoma kind of do their like downwards inversion. Was that an airtime hit in a skull? That was weird. That would feel so I don't know. It is insane in real life. If your torso was still attached to your legs, I'd be impressed. Great look at the night lighting as well, with the fire that burns the trains it goes past. Yeah, really nice coaster. On to the next one, we have a very small launch coaster called Thunderbolt, and this is the perfect example of what a blueprint coaster can be. It's very compact, keeps to itself, you can kind of insert it into any park. The layout's really creative, it almost feels like a clonable coaster, which you'd actually be excited to ride, because most clonable coasters, like in the SLC's case, you don't really want to ride that often. Like once you've done one, you feel like done them all. But with this one, it has a very clonable looking layout, but in a really good way. I like the look of it.
Yeah, it looks really compact. I love the colors. I like the custom supporting. It looks really good. Yeah, it looks snappy, fast, insane elements, very unique elements. Yeah, looks pretty cool.
It definitely feels like, I can't tell if it's supposed to be like a Mac or an Intamin. It feels kind of more like an Intamin to me, with how like small and snappy all of the elements are. But I just think it works really well.
To me, it looks more like a Infinity Coaster from Gerstlauer or something.
Yeah, it could be that as well. I like that custom launch section they've put in there as well, using TMTK items. That downwards inversion is very cool.
Yeah.
We've got two of those now. Really unique element. You don't really see many manufacturers doing them. It kind of is like a death roll, isn't it? But a really unique sensation going down one of them. Yeah, really nice little coaster. It definitely got the potential, this one, that you could sort of theme it in any way, like slot it into any park and it'd work really well.
Yeah, definitely.
On to the next coaster, we have Tidal Wave, which is a really nicely themed small coaster. I really like the look of this. Again, it's like kind of the last one where you could almost see this being a clonable layout, but then with the wave kind of wrapping around the Immelmann, it definitely feels like a coaster that could be themed in a variety of ways. It's a nice simple layout, so it wouldn't be too expensive for parks to fit in. But, I mean, as you can see there, it's doing 2 laps, so it's definitely a longer ride experience. It's really well done. Very efficiently made as well, which is nice to see. What are your thoughts for this one?
Yeah, this looks really cool. I like the custom art shape wave. I like the colors. This could be placed in a SeaWorld park in real life, maybe with a multi-launch. The design is really good. I like the station, like the beach vibes.
Yeah, it's definitely giving me SeaWorld vibes, which is really cool. It really feels like a sort of, because they've definitely been experimenting with a lot more concept coasters now, SeaWorld, so it really just feels like something that they would invest in. A really cool, like, hang timing moment there. I mean, Gerstlauer definitely know how to do a lot of hang timing moments like that. And yeah, it feels very manufacturer accurate, which is nice.
The capacity would be pretty low in real life, but
yeah,
it's a game.
I always love it when, like, say if you're on a little kiddie coaster that's really short and you get 2 laps and you get really excited, but, I mean, if you get 2 laps on a thrill coaster, that would be even cooler. Yeah, really nice ride. The next coaster is another launched RMC, which is really nice to see. This one is absolutely massive, and like, just look at the size of it. This one's called Tornado. Really, really cool launched RMC, and it almost kind of feels like it's designed to run around the perimeter of a park. It's like a really long rectangular layout with some really cool elements as you go around, but this big field in the middle. I instantly just thought you could put a park in that, and it'd be like a really cool perimeter coaster kind of design, which is definitely a more unique way to design a coaster, but it's always good to see unique ways to design coasters. It makes you think a lot more, but yeah, that was just what I thought to begin with. Really nice station build as well, and it's got an interesting element in the station. I don't know if you've spotted it yet.
Ooh, there's a cow.
There is a cow. I don't. It's like the what the dog doing meme. What the cow doing? I don't know what the cow's doing. He's having a great time.
Hello.
But yeah, really nice little station. Not so much little coaster, but we're going to go on it now. Just, the lift hill looks like it goes on forever.
I wish we could do launched RMCs on console.
Yeah, it's something you don't really see a lot of, and I feel like if you could do it with the base game, you just see so many more of them. This has definitely got all of the RMC wildness about it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely speeding through all of its elements. Not really regarding the forces on the people riding the coaster, but that's exactly how RMCs ride in real life. Just flinging you around everywhere. If you haven't got bruises on your thighs, then it can't have been an RMC that you've been on.
There's even 2 death rolls on this one.
One's not enough. Yeah, really cool coaster, and just I love the presence of it on the skyline. I just think that putting a mini park, well, it wouldn't really be a mini park because this area in the centre of the coaster is huge, but having a park kind of inside the perimeter of this coaster and then the coaster running around the outsides, that'd be such a unique park that I don't know. I'm surprised that hasn't really happened yet in real life, where a coaster's kind of hugged a park, but I think it would really work.
Yeah, you could literally see this coaster from every angle inside the park if you look out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really cool coaster. On to the next one, we have, I think, one of only a few launched B&M wing coasters in this competition. Oh, never mind, it's not actually a wing coaster. I thought it was. It's a B&M launched coaster, but with different trains. I suppose it could be a concept coaster. B&M are definitely experimenting a lot, so I can see them sort of doing a 2-seater launch coaster like this. If you're wondering why the terrain looks a bit interesting, it's because obviously you can't have terrains in blueprints. It doesn't transfer across, so I've had to try and make the terrain work myself for the creation to make sense. But if it isn't the greatest, then there's not really much more I could do about it because I said no terrain. But I've tried to make the best of it work. But anyway, this is a really cool concept looking coaster. I can definitely see B&M doing something like this.
I love the sightline of this of the big sign with the big element and the custom supporting up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really nice kind of entrance feature as you approach the ride, which is cool. Got lockers as well while you're queuing up to board. Very realistic features.
Oh, nice.
I love that massive logo for the ride on the side of the building. Track colour is really nice as well, how it's kind of got the black running rails and cross ties with the red spine. Very, very smooth too.
The beginning of the ride reminds me of the section after the top hat of Pantheon.
Oh, yeah. I'm really getting those vibes. I love that stall. That's so cool. It's like not completely... Yeah, not completely vertical, so you get like some sort of awkward off-axis airtime, which I bet would be a really cool sensation to feel. It sort of almost feels like a surf coaster in a way as well, because of how, like, not relaxing, but you know what I mean, like the layout's like really like appropriately paced, and the forces have definitely been considered.
Yeah, this would be a really good layout for a stand-up coaster.
Yeah, the nice considered area around it as well, the supporting flat ride. Yeah, really cool blueprint. On to our next creation, we have Troppy's Adventure, which I don't know who Troppy is, but that's a really cool name for a coaster. It's kind of like a cute name. But there is 2 coasters in this blueprint, but the creator only asked me to spotlight this blue one, so that's what we'll be doing. It's a launched B&M stand-up coaster, definitely giving me surf coaster vibes, but I really, really like the look of this. The whole vegetation built up around the area looks really nice, like very dense and packed together. The coaster looks great as it kind of like floats over this area. You'll see with the layout that it's very floaty, the coaster. The track colour is really, really nice as well, and the custom supports look very accurate. I like the look of this one.
Yeah, the foliage reminds me of the I don't know, Cumber.
Oh yeah,
the B&M sit down at Busch Gardens. Looks quite similar. Really good.
Yeah, it's a very it's not a compact blueprint because the coaster's really big and spread out, but it feels like every area is being filled with something for the ride to be interesting as you're going around, like all the different bits of foliage and landscaping features. Oh, we've got on-ride audio as well. I don't know which manufacturer came up with it first to have the airtime hill during the launch. I feel like it was probably Intamin, but it's such a cool idea to have that. It just starts off the ride in such a more interesting way.
How did was marketed first? With Copperhead Strike? I don't know.
Oh yeah, actually, could have been.
Could be wrong. I don't know.
No, I think you might be right. Yeah, because that was before the coasters that I was thinking of that have it. See what I mean about the coaster? Like really floaty though.
It's really floaty, yeah. But it's nice and smooth.
Yeah. I've never been on a stand-up coaster before. I really, really want to do one. It's so cool.
I'm not eager to go on.
Well, I feel like the newer B&M ones anyway. The older ones might try and kill you, but ones like this, like Pipeline, yeah, they look really, really cool. Yeah, it's a great coaster, great blueprint. Our next coaster is a absolutely huge, perfectly realistic Intamin multi-launch coaster called TUATARA, maybe? I'm sorry if I'm badly pronounced that, but I just love the little details of this coaster. Look at the little spikes on top of the stall. I think it's basically themed to some, like, dinosaur lizard-looking thing, which I will show you in a minute if you haven't already spotted at the bottom of the frame, but this coaster is so well done. The custom supports are absolutely impeccable. The entire ride, I think, is 2 meters smooth, which just makes it such a realistic and incredible experience. But my favourite part, look, it's so cute.
I want to pet him.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, that's just won my heart for this creation. You didn't even have to submit the coaster. I wouldn't have disqualified you because it didn't have a coaster if the creation was just that. I love it. But yeah, this coaster, go back to the actual thing the creation's about. This coaster is so well done. It's so smooth. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by the newer gen Intamins like Tutatis or Batman. The custom supports look insane. I love the little lizard thingy. I think it's pronounced TUATARA as well. TUATARA.
If there's one thing I've learned through doing all of these spotlights, I am awful at pronouncing just everything in general.
Yeah, a lot of unique elements, a lot of Intamin realistic elements. I love the top hat. I love the hang time on top of the top hat.
Yeah, I mean, profiling top hats like this is... I've tried to make countless Intamin coasters in the past, and there he is on the way past. profiling, even that stall there, profiling top hats and the stalls of these newer Intamins is so difficult to do, but it just works really, really nicely.
Then even adding those little spikes on top of the stall just adds so much character.
Yeah, it's such a unique thing that I've never seen anyone do with a coaster before. Like, I thought when Alton Towers started painting this spine kind of vein effect onto Nemesis, that was like a really unique thing to do. But like, you can imagine if they went further and started adding bits onto the track like that, it'd just do so much more to the coaster. Yeah, really incredible ride. On to the next one, we have UltraViolet, which this one is a console creation. And I know you're going to hate me for this, but I find smoothing coasters on console so difficult, but this creation is incredibly smooth. It's a really nice long Intamin coaster, but as you can see, this coaster does use terrain, so I've had to do this myself to try and make it work, because terrain doesn't carry across in blueprints again. So if the terrain's not as how you planned it to be, I'm sorry, but I don't really know what you were trying to go for with the terrain, so I've tried to do it as what I thought it would be like. But just talking about the actual coaster, it's really nice coaster. A lot of unique elements as well, as you can see, with the kind of Exodus outer bank thing. I'm pointing at the monitor, but you can't see. The Exodus outer banky thing, but it actually goes up it instead of going down it, which is really cool. Yeah, really nice coaster. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the elements look crazy, unique. The custom supports are really good.
I like the little fade at the top of the supports. I don't know if you noticed, but it kind of like fades from the white to the purple towards the top of the support. I have absolutely no idea how they've done that, but I really like the effect. Yeah, this is the element here I was talking about, how it's kind of like the Exodus outer bank, but it does it the other way around, which is really cool.
That's really unique.
I keep calling it Exodus. It's Hyperion. I'm sorry, I keep calling it its wrong name.
Nice angle dive. Stall.
It's got all the kind of coaster elements you'd expect from like a really high thrill Intamin. It's really good.
I love that the coaster rises up into an inversion and then into the brake run as well.
Yeah, it's cool how the station's like really highly elevated above the rest of the light. You don't really see that on the sort of newer Intamin Mac launched coasters like this. It's really unique. Our next coaster is a Valhalla, which is a really interesting, I think it's a Mac multi-launch. As you can see, the custom supports there on that top hat inversion element are really cool. But it's got it's sort of a multipass launch. It kind of launches halfway up this element, falls back down, and then launches back up it again. It's a really interesting way to start the coaster and kind of increases the longevity, like the actual ride duration, which is really nice. Really cool themed area. I like how it interacts with all the buildings as well. It then like feels like one of the blueprint coasters that you could just plonk down in any park and it would work really nicely. But yeah, really good looking coaster. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the overall look of the coaster. I like the station. It's very cool. The multipass thing, I have no idea how that works, but it's awesome as well. Yeah, looks really appealing.
It's a really nicely presented coaster, but even though even if it wasn't called Valhalla, I feel like this would definitely fit at Blackpool Pleasure Beach next to the Valhalla water ride. Like the theming that these two rides share is very similar. And I mean, if they brought this to Blackpool, I would not complain.
We even get some nice steam effects there. On-ride audio as well.
Yeah, another coaster that starts with a like a dark ride section as well before the launch. I really need to start doing these because like they add so much more like thematically for the coaster and kind of increase the suspense before you go on. But this is such a unique first element to start off with. Whee! Imagine all the people that be shouting, "Roll back!" as it falls back down.
The GP would be terrified.
Yeah. They're like, why is the ride broken?
I love the corkscrew over the launch building.
I love it as well when you get like that perfect transition out of a coaster where it still kind of carries on half of, like it carries on the turn almost into the next element, which is really cool. It's like a really nice flowing effect. Yeah, the fire effects are nice. Yeah, really good little coaster. On to the next one, we have Valhammen. I'm sorry, I'm not great at pronouncing coasters, if you noticed. But this, again, is another huge Intamin launched coaster, with a lot of it actually occurring indoors, which is really cool. I don't think there is actually an indoor coaster in this competition, if I remember, which would have been a really cool concept to see, actually. But this coaster has quite a lot of indoor sections, which is really interesting. And this was asked to be spotlighted at night, and it has some really interesting night lighting inside and outside, which is nice.
Forbidden facilities, okay. What if I gotta pee?
What goes on in there? Why is it so forbidden? I had to turn my torch on here because I couldn't see where I was going. Yeah, the station build is like part of this much larger building that quite a lot of the ride takes place in, which is really interesting. As you can see, the speakers, there's audio blasting out everywhere. It's really cool. Very atmospheric. Really nice indoor portion as well. I've said this so many times. I don't think I've ever actually used these lights before in game, but they're so atmospheric.
I used those lights in my creation in The Exorcist, in the cellars, the catacombs of Villaggio Krakow.
I love the lights following us on that outside portion. That was really cool. Because of how dark it is and you can't really see the ceiling of the building, it's kind of like you're flying over buildings. I love this effect there as well. It's so perfectly timed to trigger. Imagine how expensive it would be to upkeep like a firework every time your coaster launches. Yeah, the trailing light effects around the track are really nice. And back into the station. Yeah, it's a really cool concept of a coaster. The custom supports on the top hat as well are really good, very accurate.
Maybe the queue could use some more night lightings, but otherwise it's really cool.
On to the next kind of Nordic themed coaster, we have Valkyra. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at pronouncing it, but I really, really like the look of this coaster. It's very, very compact. It kind of feels like it was set in the same dimensions for... Do you remember Ian Matty's Dragon Coaster competition?
Oh, yeah.
It kind of feels like it's set in the same dimensions as that, which is really cool, but limiting yourself to such a small plot of land is a really impressive thing to do and fit this much coaster in. It's sort of like a baby Taran. I really like the look of it.
Yeah, it really looks like a mini version of Taran.
Nice little gift shop on the outside there as well. The custom supports, especially because of like all the times the track has to go over each other, you kind of have to be extra creative with them, which is really interesting. I'm glad you've chosen to custom support it as well, because I have no idea what the game would have attempted to do if it was given this to support by itself. But it's definitely given me very Smiler vibes, the way like the coaster's all over you while you're in the queue, which is cool.
Yeah, also very Klugheim vibes. Same vibes.
Anything that gives like Klugheim and Taran vibes is just instantly a good thing. Nice ride audio blasting out as well. It's got the new Intamin and Mac lockers there in this station as well, that the flap moves up when your train pulls in, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's really difficult to build a coaster in such a small space and make the trains or the guests not hit anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just looking at all the near misses, it's been very well considered. That kind of big rock sculpture in the middle as well almost reminds me of Big Bob at Alton Towers, the Wicker Man effigy thing. Yeah. It's like kind of how it bursts through it like 3 times. Really nice.
Really cool versions as well.
Yeah, the profiling is really interesting. Yeah, really nice creation. Nice little look there at night as well. The night lighting is really subtle, but it definitely works. You can imagine night rides on this would be really cool with all the near misses. The next coaster we have is Vortex, a really nice small B&M launch stand-up coaster, which is really cool. I've never really seen a stand-up coaster, especially a launch one, on this small of a scale before, but I feel like it could really work for parks that don't have as big a budget as to build something like Pipeline. It's really interesting to see like such a smaller version of one of these rides, but I like the look of it.
Is the video sped up, or is it that fast?
It's just very fast.
I think it might be a bit too fast, in my
Just
opinion.
a tiny bit, yeah. But the kind of set of elements, they're very like, I'm trying to think of what the right word is. Well composed, like they all flow into each other well. Like they're very classic. I say classic surf coaster elements. We've only had one, but they definitely work in sort of the surfing position or like stand-up position. But yeah, I definitely think the speed could be a little bit reduced, and it'd make the coaster much better.
I like that he used the rolling launch with the tires instead of an LSM launch. It's unique. Yeah, but definitely the coaster's way too fast.
I like all the foliage around the area as well. The building interaction is nice, how it's got the building fly-through section. It could do with a little bit of work on the speed, but the actual coaster itself is really nice. Our next incredibly detailed Intamin LSM launch coaster is Weeping Timber. Now, this just looks incredible, doesn't it? It's an absolutely huge coaster. It's kind of giving me Falcon's Fury or Falcon's Flight, whichever the one coming to Six Flags Qiddiya is in terms of its scale. Like, it's absolutely massive. Pretty much the whole 2.5 minutes of this spotlight actually is the POV because of how long this coaster is. But it just keeps going. And I really like the way that it starts with this vertical chain lift as well. Now, I mean, I know it's a launch coaster competition, but it only had to include a launch, so there's quite a few creators that have added a chain lift in as well, and a launch, which is a really interesting set of elements. But this coaster just is really, really impressive. What are you thinking?
I love how it starts with a barrel roll in the dark as well, and a vertical lift.
Yeah, there's a lot of unique elements going for it, and I really like this. Oh, what's the name of this element? I've forgotten. Sort of like a condensed sea serpent roll, but I can't remember.
Sea serpent roll, yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, it's got a really nice set of elements. This coaster, incredibly well smoothed, as you can see. I think is it 1 meter or 2 meter? Oh, that inversion's cool.
Another death roll. Lots of death rolls here. And then death rolls,
yeah. A launched and a lifter, which is really cool. But yeah, that was only half of the coaster. It just keeps on giving. I don't know what it is as well with black tracked coasters, just in general, especially like black tracked Intamins. They always just seem to be so good.
It just looks great.
Yeah. Black Intamin track is just definitely my favourite looking coaster track, regardless. It looks amazing.
Yeah, this layout packs a punch. There's a lot of elements, a lot of unique elements that flow into each other very well.
Yeah, it's packed with airtime and inversions and all the lovely Intamin twisting. Another death roll.
Another death roll.
Another one. Yeah, it's really nice. And the night lighting again is really subtle. Just giving this creation such a presence in the night as well. On to our next creation, which is definitely probably the most unique coaster of this showcase, maybe even the whole competition, but it's Wiener Looping, which is pretty much a perfect one-for-one creation of a Schwarzkopf shuttle loop of this layout and this exact name, actually. But it's just so expertly done. Like the custom supporting and the profile of it is so accurate. That loop as well, you can actually have that as like a prefabricated loop in the game that does give you the supports, but it's not very accurate. So the fact that this creator has added like a perfect support for that loop in the style of like a Schwarzkopf coaster as well, it just works really, really well. And this has a custom station as well, which I know is something you can only do on PC, but it just makes this creation so much more realistic.
Yeah, perfectly summed up. I have nothing to add. It's a perfect replica of the real Schwarzkopf Wiener looping. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's such a simple layout, but it's just so interesting, especially because of the history of it as well. Like Schwarzkopf being just a really, really fascinating coaster manufacturer anyway, but like the level of detail create this is literally one for one. It's absolutely perfect. Just the level of detail this creator's gone to get it exactly how it is, and imagine as well because of the age of this ride, it probably wasn't easy to get photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really well executed. Starts off with a backwards launch as well, and I mean I've had PC Planet Coaster for over a year now, and the mods for a little bit less than that, and I still wouldn't even know where to start to create something like this with the mods because it's completely custom. The station for it, the actual real coaster station, is completely underground. So I have absolutely no idea how Dragons has managed to create this in the game. It feels like a No Limits 2 creation with how like custom everything's been done.
Yeah, that seems like the most technically advanced submission so far. It looks very professional.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very well polished. Our next creation is Wild Jungle Quest, which is a really, really big Mack multi-launch coaster. As you can see, it like weaves its way really, really interestingly through all the foliage that the creator has made. And I really like the addition of having the track like different colours as well. It sort of reminds me of Rita at Alton Towers, how the top portion of it has to be green to blend in with the trees. It's kind of like the lower down portions on this, like a brown, orangey, rusted colour, and then the top parts are green, which is really interesting. But the custom supports on this ride as well have been really, really well done. And I absolutely love that sea serpent roll that you're about to see now. Really, really interesting ride. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the first thing that popped into mind was the beautiful heart element inspired by M1sterAnton1o probably. It looks really good. This custom supporting looks awesome. I also love the colors. I love the colors changing.
Yeah, it's a really unique effect. I love how it's kind of like winding throughout all the foliage as well. Like the amount of near misses and probably trees to the face you get is would be a lot, but it's really, really interesting how it works.
Well, it's a wild jungle quest. What do you expect?
I can imagine this coaster kind of having like custom on-ride audio, kind of like how Hagrid's has got, where it's like an explorer taking you through the jungle. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It's a very Mack, isn't it? Like all the transitions and elements, just this person's definitely studied how Mack kind of like design the shaping of their coasters. I think that was like was it a double down or a triple down? That was really cool. A couple more twists as well, and there's a really nice inversion back up into the station.
Yeah, a lot of cheetah hunt at turns as well. And a slow barrel roll.
Those little S-bends on Cheetah Hunter are actually my favourite moments of the ride. I should just make a layout of just all those. That would be a really cool coaster. But it wouldn't be repetitive.
S-bend the ride.
S-bend the ride, yeah. I think that C7 roll my favourite part of this ride. It's just so well done. The supports look great.
It looks awesome.
Our next coaster is Wildwoods, which is a small launched Mack spinning coaster that's been really, really nicely done. The custom supports look very, very accurate, and it kind of gives me like 13 vibes, but if it was a launch spinning coaster, which would be a really cool like alternate universe like 13 if it was a launch spinning coaster, but it's definitely given me a lot of those vibes.
Again, I wish we could do launch spinning coasters on the console.
Yeah, that was one of the main things I was looking forward to the most when I finally decided to get a PC. Was been able to do spinning coasters properly, but it just it opens up so much more opportunities, because spinning coasters, like, I mean, we don't really have much to go off in real life. There's like the Mac Extreme one, there's only 2 of them, and then there's a third kind of launched Mac spinning coaster coming to Epic Universe whenever that opens, but that's a family coaster, a bit like this, so there's not really a lot to go off, like precedent wise. You can be really free with the designs you make, and this one's definitely a really unique one.
Wait, why is it going backwards? What?
It's a shuttle launch.
Oh.
So it's like a complete circuit, but then it goes through the station twice to launch itself up, which is really interesting. Yeah, it's a really nice little coaster. I like how it blends into its surroundings as well with all the foliage, but yeah, it feels definitely very grounded and realistic, which is nice. I feel like it'd be quite easy with a spinning coaster to just go completely over the top, because there's not that many to go off, but this one feels really realistic.
Yeah, and quick shout out to the custom supports. Looks like a lot of work.
Our next coaster is Wipeout, which I don't think I've ever seen a more Gerstlauer coaster before. It's just inversions after airtime after inversions. It's a complete mess of track, but in the best possible way. It just screams Gerstlauer, doesn't it?
Yeah, give me the Gerst. The Gerstlauer.
I would absolutely love to ride this coaster in real life. It's like kind of the Smiler, but launched and bigger, and like just this element that the train's about to go in here. It's a top hat, but the creator was like, "No, we'll make it off axis, because that just makes it even more cool and thrilling." Like, there's been so many little bits of this ride that have been, I don't know, just thought about that little bit more to make them a bit more thrilling, and I really like that. And the custom supports as well look great, but before we go in the POV, this creator asked me to spotlight this creation at night, and prepare yourself, it is incredible. Look at that.
Ooh. Oh. Very
the night
colorful.
lighting is insane,
nice.
Yeah.
Vibrant. It adds to the wipeout beachy, sunny, I don't know, Miami vibes.
Yeah, it's given me kind of Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm vibes, because I can't remember what the name of the company is that installed the lights on that track, but you know how there's kind of like the pulsing, all different coloured lights that interact with the coaster.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely looking a lot like that. Like how the launch section here is red, then it goes into the top hat that kind of like fades from green to blue to yellow. It's just really, really well executed.
Yeah, it's very well thought out. And I love how he put a fence or a border around the coaster to accentuate how compact it is and maybe limit himself.
Oh, I love that element there.
Yeah.
Such a like really aggressive like snap into the side, but it still feels like a very realistic element that Gerstlauer would do, because they're a very creative manufacturer. It just keeps going, this ride, doesn't it? There's so many inversions and airtime hills and twists. It'd be such a cool experience if this thing was real. It's absolute capacity monster as well. There's trains going around all the time.
Looks really complicated. Wow.
Yeah, that's the element there I was about. The width is insane. The next coaster we have is Wrath of Hermes. Yeah, I think you might have seen this one because it's PlayStation. This is one of the ones that Jan recorded for me. Another Gerstlauer, another incredibly realistic looking Gerstlauer. Those custom supports are absolutely impeccable. Like, they look so realistic. And I like how this creator's made this whole themed area just for this coaster. Like, this is exactly what a themed blueprint should be. It's kind of the coaster with the area all as one complete package, and they work together really nicely.
Yeah, this looks so good. It looks so inviting, so clean as well. It's very nice.
That little turn into the dive loop there reminds me of the one on what's the coaster's name? Carajo. Yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely giving me those vibes.
Yeah.
This must be a very trusting park owner because there is very little fences between the ride area and the coaster.
Nah.
It looks so smooth as well. Something that could only aspire real life ghost ladders to be. I mean, most of them are, yeah. I don't know what's happened with the Smiler. It used to be a little bit rough, but then all of a sudden it's kind of like got much better with age, and now it's like the last ride I had on it, which is probably the best ride I've ever had on it, was Nighttime Scarefest 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, sorry. I don't know how long ago it was, but that was the smoothest ride I've ever had on that coaster. I absolutely love the Smiler. And this has given me quite a lot of Smiler vibes as well, with how close some of the track is together in the distance. I love how it's that little dip before the launch.
Yeah.
It's how ghost ladder. Very, very well profiled top hat.
Little pop-up ejector at hand. Yeah, this reminds me of Carajo a bit.
Another coaster that I really, really want to get on.
It's so underrated.
I know, no one talks about it enough. But then this crater must have been inspired by it, because they're very, very similar. Profiling's excellent on this ride.
Yeah, a lot of unique variety of elements as well. And a little transfer track and backstage area.
Nice maintenance shed. Yeah, very, very realistic, but also a very, very nice theme as well, which is tough to get both, but this creator's done that very well. On to our last creation, we have XENOS, which I don't know whether that stands for something, but just look at this. It's such a unique theme for a coaster. Again, a Mack Extreme spinning coaster, but very much unlike the ones that we've seen in real life, and the ones that I've seen in game, to be fair. All of the elements and inversions all seem really, really, really unique. But what's even more unique is the theme for this. I still struggle to understand what the theme's supposed to be. It's just such like, I don't know, a combination of different themes of like, I don't know, like sci-fi kind of abandoned sort of vibes, but it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it looks very Transformers and industrial steampunk-y. I don't know. Very
cool. It's a bit of everything, but it really works nicely. That building of the station is really, really nicely detailed. Another creation that's been asked to be spotlighted at night, and you can see why. Some of the night lighting is really, really well done. I like how the actual theming, like scenery pieces, interact with the coaster as well. Quite often you can just have the theming like around the entrance of a coaster and maybe like one main piece, but there's actually quite a lot of theming that's going on around this ride, which is nice. It's so, so smooth.
Oh, that second launch is very punchy. Awesome.
This section's really interesting here as well. Kind of just like a... Oh, very loud. Lasers and all sorts. It's like a hole to drop, which is really interesting. Like having little show scenes like that around your layout is really interesting. I think I mentioned the custom supporting as well, but the custom supporting is very, very accurate.
Yeah.
I love that big piece of like machinery climbing up the side of the building too. It's sort of like how you would get vines and vegetation to climb up a building, but instead it's like metal and bits of machinery. It's such an interesting theme. That element's so cool. Yeah, really great coaster.
Wow, awesome.
And there we have it. The launched coaster competition is now finished. All of the entries have been showcased. The spotlights are now over. The community vote is now open. Please check out the community vote, which will be listed in the description, along with the instructions on how to vote for your favourite creations. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Antonio, for joining me on this one.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I will see you all in the results video for the competition. Please, if you need to, go back and watch all the other showcases so you can see all the different creations. Definitely can't wait to vote on my favourite coasters for this competition because there's been so many. It's going to be really hard to choose. But again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.